All right. Actually, I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I tried to give an outline of possible AI tools available, not just ChatGPT, but I wanted to show that there are various AI tools that we can use in our teaching practice, we can use in our learning practice. And I suggest starting with a few reflective questions. And I will probably start with a metaphor. You know, a friend of mine gave a very good metaphor for AI. She said, AI is kind of like fast food. It's quick and easy, but it's missing that personal touch and depth you get from a homemade meal. And I think that's a great metaphor that describes AI. It can give us instant answers, but we need to remember to mix it up with real language experiences and interacting with actual humans. Or as Neil said, it should be human mediated feedback. And overall, the human should be there. What is AI for you? Could you think of any metaphor or analogy for AI? If you were thinking about what you would compare it with. Maybe somebody would like to answer, or please either type in the chat box, or you could probably just raise your hand and answer.
Lana, can I stop you just for a second?
Okay.
Because obviously people are now generating answers, but can I actually go, because I was kind of monitoring the chat and there's quite a few questions that maybe we should answer first. What do you think? Are you okay with that? Yeah. So, okay, first of all, there was Raza. So, he had a question about text to speech. Okay, and what was your question, Raza? Can you actually use these tools on an Android phone, Lana? Because that was one of the questions.
Well, it needs to be checked. I'm not sure. I mean, I think that 11 Labs offers this option, so you can use it on Android, definitely.
Yeah.
You can also use it via Talk to ChatGPT plugin. I think it works on Android as well. Well, nowadays they are nearly all integrated, so I would say it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So this
again, it depends on the purpose. Like if you would like to use it for your students, then probably the reader will be more convenient, and it definitely integrates well with Android phones.
Okay, so we have one of the questions answered. Now, in the, I'm sorry, but it's just a wow. There are so many questions that.
Okay.
Okay, so in the Q&A, someone is asking about plagiarism, and I think, and then again in the chat. So I wonder if you may want to say something about this. So what do you think about the issue of plagiarism? And how does it really affect us as teachers? Okay, so in terms of us making sure how to kind of prevent it, maybe in the classroom, how to assist learners, but at the same time, how to spot plagiarism. Is there any tool that can spot it?
You mean plagiarism when students start using such tools? You can use ChatGPT 0. There is a number of tools at the moment available on the market that can be used to spot plagiarism, in the sense like if students use these tools to generate something, that's one story. The other one, if we talk about plagiarism in general, then I think it's a burning issue for all industries, and I don't think that there is a consensus at the moment. What can be considered plagiarism? Whether we can consider AI-generated images or AI-generated text as a case of plagiarism. So I think that would be the topic that we need to explore for several hours at least. But in terms of students, there are definitely tools that help you identify content which was generated by ChatGPT, for example, or any other large language model.
Okay, now Hira is asking about GPT-0. I don't even know what this is. What is GPT-0?
I used GPT-0. I'm not sure about the 0. I mean, technically, they started with GPT-2. That was a large language model. At the moment, we're using GPT-4. or GPT 3.5 in the playground. So that's actually the large language model that drives ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is a chatbot which is built on this large language model. Paid users can use GPT-4 at the moment. Yes, if you know Bing, if you use Bing, then you can use it for free, because Bing uses actually GPT-4 model, language model, and it's available to everybody. So that's about this GPT-0, GPT.
Yeah, Damcho is saying something about GPT-0 detecting if the content is written by ChatGPT.
Oh yeah, then that's the detector. That's what I mentioned before. If, for example, you have doubts about some content, you think that it was generated by some AI tool, I mean, it can be ChatGPT, it can be Jasper, it can be any other content generating tool or text generator, then you can use GPT-0. There is actually a number of tools you can use. At the moment, they appear like every week. There is a new tool that appears on the market, and you can use to see whether that was generated by AI. But I know that every week somebody smart comes up with a new idea how to avoid that. So it works in all directions. You can also at times use ChatGPT itself. You can feed in the text and ask ChatGPT whether it created that text, and often you get the answer yes. Yes, I did.
Okay, now there's one more question in the Q&A from Alia, asking about ability to think and write. Many people say that human will lose the ability to think and write as ChatGPT can write essays. And what's your take on this? So
I'll probably ask everybody present here, because we are learning together. It's not something at the moment, every single educator on the planet is learning a new thing. So I would probably get it into the group discussion. What's your take on that? Will students all of a sudden, or will the human beings all of a sudden stop writing because of a ChatGPT appearing on the planet, or a large language model?
Now, Freshta is asking if she's asking about the availability of these tools in different countries. I think Freshta is from Afghanistan, so I guess she's asking about Afghanistan. Are these tools available worldwide, or how much do you know about this availability around the world?
Technically, they should be available everywhere, though there are certain issues with ChatGPT. As you probably may know, it was recently banned in Italy, though as far as I know, they have lifted the ban. So now it's available again. So there might be something with local regulators, because at the moment that's again, these are issues with plagiarism, these are issues with data privacy. So again, but I think that overall, 11 Labs, DID, Blue Willow, Midjourney are the tools that are available everywhere with no restrictions.
Now, Damcho is saying, I'm not quite sure how to understand that, how to understand this message, but I feel that this is something important that Damcho is saying. He's saying that at this stage, all we need is creativity, not the content. So I feel the advancement of AI tools made this true. I wonder, Damcho, if you may want to tell us more about this, because I have the feeling that there is a really deep message. Okay, so Damcho cannot talk because, okay, that's fine. So, but both to us, okay, that's fine. Okay, so now, okay, so Lana, where do we start now? Because kind of with all these questions, being bombarded with all these questions, we kind of, we've lost track of.
Okay,
so
then I suggest getting back to our metaphor, right? If you could think of a metaphor, of a nice metaphor for an AI, that would be great. So what is AI for you? For my friend, that's fast food. What is AI for you? If you have tried these tools?
Well, I can answer for myself. I can say that it could be my personal assistant.
That's a great answer.
Mm.
And that's a 24/7 personal assistant, if you think about it, which is great for teachers, both for teachers and for learners. So whenever a learner needs some practice or has a question, right, this assistant is available at all times, which is fantastic. Whenever you wake up and come up with a new idea for a new activity, again, your assistant is always there. Isn't it wonderful to have such an assistant?
Someone is saying it's a time saver and ready-made food. Shall we talk about this this answer? It's a time saver, because what I want to kind of bring up is one of the surveys, recent surveys carried out. I told you about this, Lana, and it was quite surprising for me. There's been a survey carried out whose results kind of confirm that over 60% of teachers believe that ChatGPT will actually add more workload as opposed to taking kind of the load off the, tiny little things that we have to do. So 60% of people, teachers, believe that ChatGPT will create more workload for us. So I wonder how you feel about this. So maybe before you answer, Lana, maybe we can encourage people to just answer this question in the chat. So just say yes or no. Do you think that ChatGPT will add more workload or actually save us a lot of time? So will it add more workload? Yes or no? No, 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 no. Danilo is saying no. Come on, guys, give me more. No, not
No.
a single yes. No, so everybody is saying that it will not.
I like this answer, yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes, if teachers will know how to properly use it. No, if the teacher will just depend on it and be confused on how to use it. Actually, it's making an easier way to work.
Okay, ChatGPT will not, but if parents have raised, then yes. Now, okay, Neil, can I ask you to come on and can I ask you about your very first comment, and it was to do with transformation. So you mentioned that ChatGPT, well, you can say it yourself.
This comes back to a bit of research that was done in the late 1990s, and which I then used to look at the potential of interactive whiteboards. And it's basically that idea that technology used well in education doesn't do what we already do better, but enables us to do things which we could not have done previously, hence that idea of transformation. And I think, for me, AI is transformative. And Lana, and thank you, Lana, for a fascinating kind of overview of some of those tools that are available to us for free. We can see the potential for us to bring highly personalized materials into the classroom that we simply couldn't. So as an example, using Midjourney as an image generator, we can create a bespoke picture at a A1, A2 level. It might be a description of a room, or it might be an infogap with two pictures that are slightly different, which, unless you were a good artist, you would have struggled to produce. With Midjourney or Blue Willow, I think we're in a position to do that very quickly, and it opens up the ability to change the things that we have pictured in the room as a way of recycling vocabulary that has come up as an emergent language point with a low-level class. So I think it is transformative, and I think we would be, and this is a personal view, should be thinking of AI as a transformative tool, not just as one that helps us to do things more quickly, because otherwise really we're just doing the same things, but just more efficiently, which is fine, but it seems a missed opportunity. I don't know how Lana, Gabby and other people here on the chat today might respond to that view.
Lana.
I completely agree. And that's actually my take on AI tools. I think that by and large, at the moment, we are missing the potential. We are really missing the potential. We somehow love the idea of efficiency, that it helps us save time. Not in all the cases, though. In many cases, when we generate a lesson plan, or some teachers try to generate a lesson plan or some activities with ChatGPT, the quality of the output may be quite subpar, not really of high quality. And then they will anyway invest their time in trying to make this output kind of adjustable to the classroom. So, I mean, better, but that's a waste of the tool. I believe that that's a waste of the tool, because at the moment we should be probably focusing on the areas where the tools can help us do something we were not able to do before. And that will be not like kicks and giggles or some, relative value, but proper value added to the classroom. That is, we get something that helps us do what we could never do before. And these are the areas that I think we should find in education and in teaching languages as well with these tools. And then we'll see true value. We'll see what these tools can really do. And then that will be transformational, definitely. So.
Thank you, Lana. Can I now just quote what one of, I think it was Shivani, I can't find it now, but I made a note of it. Shivani made a point about creativity. Okay, she is saying that she believes that AI and ChatGPT in particular will actually limit human creativity. So I wonder how you feel about this, and how this, in a sense, is connected to what you and Neil have just been discussing, this element of doing something new. I mean, is this what you would call creativity? Or so let's talk about this concept of creativity, because it's a tricky and a thorny issue for many teachers. Are we going to lose our creativity? Or are we actually going to develop a different kind of creativity? Tell us your thoughts.
I would say it all depends what we understand by creativity. If we understand creating a certain product and we focus on the product itself, and now we are afraid that probably ChatGPT that may create a certain product of a certain level of quality may replace actually our creativity, then I wouldn't worry about that a lot. Because again, creativity is not actually the product that you deliver, right? And I suppose that with all these AI tools available at the moment, our creativity can raise to the next level, because there are lots of automated things that are in there in the creative process that we won't have to focus on, we won't have to spend our time on. We'll be able to focus on something more meaningful. And I think that it will only add to the creativity process. And again, to the quality of what we produce.
If I may add, my 5 cents to this, yeah, I actually believe that as well. I remember at the very beginning, I was a little bit suspicious about ChatGPT as well. I kind of felt that it would be limiting creativity, or better still, it would, ChatGPT, I was kind of worried that ChatGPT will make all the teachers kind of have the same skills. So until ChatGPT was invented, right, teachers had different levels of creativity, right? So you had teachers who were very creative and teachers who were a little bit less creative. And then the ones who were creative wanted to be acknowledged, right, for their creativity. So I kind of felt at the beginning that was not fair on the teachers who had this potential for creativity. But then once I started using it, I realized that it's actually the other way around. I mean, really and truly, you could be as creative as it gets. It's just that it's almost like, you know, a paradigm shift, if you will. So something has to change in the way you look at materials, perhaps. I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? Anybody?
I see one comment that I would like to comment on because I really love it. I really love it. And that's Damcha. Creativity should be done before you use AI. AI can help you transform your creative idea to reality. And that's actually the key points of my today's presentation as well. These are just tools. They do not replace us. These are just tools. And they can be, I mean, they can be good or bad or ugly, but it all depends which hands hold these tools. So before we create something, before we start using these tools, we need to come up with a certain idea of what we would like to create. It can be used in relation to Midjourney or any text-to-image generator. If you don't have a clear idea of what you want to get, the result that you would like to get, you won't be able to, I mean, maybe it will generate something random, but then again, it won't be like true creativity. And again, there won't be that high quality that you would like to get. ChatGPT has exactly the same principle. If you create a lesson plan, or if you try to generate a lesson plan or an activity with ChatGPT, if you have no idea what you would like to get, the guiding principles that you have, then I'm more than sure that that will be, again, of low quality and, again, some randomly generated text. So before we start doing something, we need to think of the concept, and no AI tool will replace us in this sense. We need to come up with a concept first, and that's our creativity with a great idea. And then we'll use these tools to implement these ideas. So that's
Danilo was earlier saying about something about he's worried about his job because and I'm quoting, because AI is better than teachers. So if it's better than teachers, then we might be replaced quite soon. So how do you? It's so funny. Yes, go on, Lana.
So, I mean, if I was to compare a teacher and AI and who is better, then I would say a teacher with AI tools will be better than a teacher, but I would never compare a teacher to a tool, definitely. But it's good to have a teacher who knows how to empower AI tools, because again, that's of much help. And that's, again, creating new learning experiences for learners, offering something that was not possible before. And the teacher with AI tools can offer that.
So can I ask you, because we are already talking about this, you know, who's better, AI or teachers? So can I ask you this question? If, for example, a learner wanted to learn English or any language for that matter, or anything for that matter, using AI without any human input, no teacher, would that be possible? So how do you feel about learners who, because we are going to talk about, because we have been talking about, you know, teachers and our perspective, our take on this, but I want to talk about learners as well. So would you say that it's, how do you feel about encouraging learners to learn the language, to learn anything using AI or, well, ChatGPT in particular, because, you know, it's the tool. So how do you feel about AI replacing us?
Well, I don't think that it's actually possible, especially at the current level of development of AI tools, because we have to be realistic. We're just at the beginning. So probably with some more development, developers will manage to overcome certain shortcomings that AI tools have at the moment. If we take ChatGPT, which is often promoted, if you watch YouTube channels, then you will probably see something like, that's it, no language teachers are needed. Now we have this ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will be teaching us. Again, if we remember those two principles, we need a human. And that's just a machine that guesses the next word. So the question is our role of a teacher limited to given some answers or given some facts or given the next correct word to our learners? Or are we the ones who actually guide their learning experience? If we are the ones who do not just give some individual facts to students, working as machines to give definitions, right? Or just to talk about something completely meaningless, then probably that might replace teachers. But teachers who who set up really nice learning experiences for their students, who think about their needs, who try to design materials or develop materials to meet these needs. I mean, they basically create their experience. I don't think that AI is capable of that or will ever be capable of that. So this human touch will always be there. So
can I ask?
Yes, at the same time, if I could just continue, at the same time, such tools may help us a lot because they can, again, add a bit of value to the process. If we use, for example, again, ChatGPT and ask our students to use it for feedback, for example, you know that sometimes students may be quite shy about giving feedback in the classroom, but if you use ChatGPT as a peer to give feedback, then students will somehow get engaged and they will start giving their feedback as well. So it can be quite a good use. Then there are some shy students who may be quite sensitive to any comment on or any mistake. They're afraid of making mistakes. Then ChatGPT can be of great help again, because you know that robots never judge. Nobody will feel shy with making mistakes that will be pointed out by ChatGPT. So that's also a good point. Then autonomy, students' autonomy. You can ask students to check their sentences that they wrote. And Neil was right in the chat box where he wrote that sometimes there might be some issues because ChatGPT is not foolproof. Sometimes ChatGPT makes mistakes and you need expertise to see this mistake. So again, we cannot outsource ChatGPT completely. I mean, outsource the tasks of checking our students' work completely. We cannot over-rely, but we can rely on it to a certain degree.
So on the same note, let's just continue talking about the learner. So because this is how I feel about this as well. I feel that there's been a lot of talk about us teachers and how we can use ChatGPT and AI to teach. But as far as I can see, there's been very little talk about how to actually train learners to use ChatGPT effectively. So I wonder how you feel, or how much, maybe, I mean, I'm sure you know more than I do because you're an expert here. I know very little about AI. But my question really is, how do we train students? I mean, would you allow ChatGPT in the classroom? And then if you would, how can this be used in real time in the classroom? And then, is it important to train learners how to use it? Or shall we just say, don't use it? I mean, how do we go about the learner?
I think it should start with training. It should start with digital literacy that we keep talking about, because that's essentially first things first, digital literacy. Students should know what they're dealing with. They should know what the mechanism is. I mean, I don't mean going very technical with them, but they should know the basic principles of how these tools operate. And that's important. That's important. Because if they know that that's basically, ChatGPT is often called as this autocomplete on steroids. I don't know if you've heard it or not, but if they know that that's autocomplete on steroids, probably the attitude will be a bit different. They will not be trusting every single sentence which is produced, which is spitted out by ChatGPT. And probably they will be more critical about the output that they get, the essays that they generate with the help of ChatGPT. That's also about critical thinking. So digital literacy. then critical thinking, they should be very critical about information that they get. Somebody in the chat mentions bias of ChatGPT or AI tools in general. Bias is inevitable because, again, bias is about the training material or the training base or database that this large language model was trained on. That's first. And second, bias can be eliminated, yet you need to know ways how to eliminate bias. You need to know that, I mean, if you do not feed in the right prompt, garbage in, then you get garbage out. So if the prompt is vague enough, the large language model will start hallucinating. So hallucination is inevitable. To avoid that, students should first craft the right prompt. Second, they should be critical about the output, what they get. Or maybe they will need to feed in their text. So based on their text, ChatGPT will produce a better output. And that's actually what I recommend to my students. First, think about your outlines, think about your product. And then with the help of ChatGPT, you can turn it into something more meaningful or of better quality. But start with your piece to make sure that you have no bias, you have no hallucination, and you have the facts that you believe in. So that's critical thinking. Creativity is also connected with prompts, because prompt crafting at the moment is actually also some piece of art, right? I mean, you need to think hard what you will input and how you will sum up what you want to get. Because again, it's sometimes it's tricky to get an AI tool do what you want it to do.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say that you mentioned critical thinking skills, and again, we all teachers, so we know that again, there's been a lot of talk about critical thinking, but I often feel that it's just empty talk. I don't know why, but I often get this feeling. But now I think the idea of critical thinking and helping our learners develop critical thinking skills is more true than ever, you know, because that's exactly how I see us training the learners to use ChatGPT. It's all about noticing, it's about reflecting and critical thinking. So it has never, critical thinking skills have never been as important as they are now. I think that's my personal opinion. Now, someone is saying, someone is asking if AI could be misused by students, Lana.
Well, I suppose so. Just like every single tool, including a pen and a sheet of paper, they may be misused. So of course, some students may misuse it, but I don't think that it should be the main concern of educators. Because again, I think that it all depends on how we view the education process. If some students will definitely misuse it, I'm sure, just as they were misusing some other tools 50 years ago. So there will be such students, but at the same time, there are students whose learning will much benefit from these tools and will be able, again, to create something meaningful for them. And probably we will be able to save time and, again, arrange more meaningful learning experiences in the classroom, right? So
how do you feel about textbooks, though? Because someone mentioned books here, and it gave me this idea that, I mean, maybe not just yet, but quite soon, okay, we will be experts in using ChatGPT or even, I don't know, more advanced, yes, AI. So we all will really be creating our own materials, okay? So how do you think that there is a real danger that textbooks may just disappear? Like nobody will ever use textbooks, because if I can tailor my lessons to my students, if I can personalize it, you know, put in my own images, real names of real students, use real context, real scenarios, and create a context for the next activity in real time in the classroom in 2 minutes, then why do I need a textbook?
That's a good question. That's a good question. But again, I think probably there will be some, it all depends on, because it doesn't actually start with the textbook. We have to understand that education is, that's a holistic world, right? So we cannot just eliminate textbooks, because then we need to start talking about the curriculum as well. We need to start thinking about assessment scales. So because it's not just something that will change while everything else will stay in place. So I wouldn't be worried much about textbooks and their disappearance, but I would say that again, if we look at textbooks from this point of view, for years we have been trying to come up with some ways how to adapt classroom textbooks to our students, to the needs of our students. With AI tools, we'll probably find better ways to adapt them first. Second, we'll probably find some materials that are more needed compared to the ones that are included in the textbooks. And third, I think that publishers will start thinking about real needs that are there. They will start competing with AI tools because there will be lots of materials created. So that will be for publishers to think about as well. Mm-hmm. Yet, again, we need an idea first. So I think that, again, authors usually come up with really good ideas. They structure lesson plans, and teachers need this expertise. So before you start actually making your own materials, you need to get this expertise. So I would say that will probably become a very good source of knowledge, how to develop lesson plans, how to develop activities. And then with this knowledge, you will be able to generate something, because your expertise together with creativity come first.
Yeah, I agree with you so much again. I mean, textbooks are really there to show you the structure of activities and lessons, right? I'm even thinking, you know, you could take the whole content from, say, a unit from a textbook and just input it, use your personal assistant and just change the names. I mean, contextualize each activity slightly differently and use names of your students. So, I mean, it's just incredible, right? This
is really good. I mean, that's a good point. And I think, again, that's the area where AI can benefit us greatly. At the moment, I'm exploring input modification with the help of AI tools. So if somebody is interested in input modification, please come and visit me on my blog. But I think that it opens a huge opportunity for multi-level classes. Because when you have one course book and one text, with ChatGPT or with any language, a large language model, you can adapt the text. Actually, you can increase complexity or you can decrease complexity, or you can create bimodal input using that, or multimodal input. Just what I showed to you, the whole process of creating basically multimodal input, that's text and audio and video, and we get that together. So we can, based on that, we can actually create something new to fit the bill, to meet the needs of our students. So that's multi-level classes definitely will benefit.
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same, like how easy it's going to be to integrate skills as well, because now you have one little text, 5, 6 sentences, and you can expand it, right? You can turn it into a listening, you can turn it into a Lexis activity, you can turn it into a grammar activity, all contextualized, all based on 6 sentences, right? So yeah, I mean, this is absolutely incredible. Okay, Neil, perhaps you can. I think you can speak, right?
Yes. Yeah. Hi. Thank you. We've thought about the need for digital literacy training for students. I think there's a clear need for digital literacy training for teachers. Mm-hmm. How do we go about meaningfully embed this, particularly for in-service teachers who are already busy people? Or can AI itself help with that solution?
Well, that's interesting. That's interesting, Alana.
I mean, how do we go about the training, right? In general, I think.
Are you talking about teachers or learners, Neil?
No, it's both, like learners. But I mean, I agree with Neil. We should start with teachers first, because if teachers are not literate digitally, if they just know the how to use a particular tool, it's not really digital literacy in its sense. Because at the moment, and that was something that I wrote a lot on my blog, and I kept talking during different webinars, that somehow we need to probably stop teaching teachers how to use particular tools. We need to teach them why they need to use particular tools. They need to find value in using various tools, so they, in a way, become like masters of keystrokes. So they can come up with ideas, they know how things work, and then they create what they want to create using various tools, not just one platform that generates quizzes. So that's like the shift from how to why. Why should I use it should come first, and then how I use that. So that's the approach. But I think it needs the education community. I mean, it depends on the country, by and large, right? If we're talking about in-service teachers, then it depends on the country, because I'm based in Montenegro. Things are not so easy here. You need to get lots of approvals, right, just to deliver a CPD training session for in-service teachers. And often these are particular publishers or particular platform presenters, right, or representatives who actually deliver such sessions. But overall, I think that we should start with why we use tools, and then how we should be using them. So, and then we go to our learners.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Lana. Now, can we? Because I can see Shivani wants to ask a question. Shivani, did you want to? I'm trying to allow you to talk, but I'm not quite sure if yeah, Shivani.
Am I audible?
Yeah, yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to ask, are there any AI tools that can help a teacher in evaluation work?
Could you specify this evaluation? Do you need an overall assessment platform or evaluation of texts like profilers?
No.
Both?
Evaluation according to the grades and the steps to be followed. Suppose it's a remedial student. So what are the steps we can follow to bridge those gaps?
I'm not quite sure if I understand this correctly. Try again. So what exactly would you like the AI to help you with? Assess students?
Suppose I have a class of 20 students, and according to the first semester, whatever their gradings are, is there an evaluation tool that can help me? Like, because normally what we do is work on graphs and Excel sheets, and then segregate who are the average students and above average students and below average students, and then we try to create a kind of a plan B for them. How can we bridge those gaps? So is it possible through any AI tool that we can have those evaluation the moment we put in the grades of a student, and we can get the right course of action for them?
Okay, Lana, that's for you to answer.
I'm not sure that I know of any completely integrated assessment platform at the moment that integrates both formative and summative assessment. That's what I understood, and at the same time provides this includes this adaptive learning component. I'm not really sure that it exists, but probably if you combine a few tools, that will help you. So you could probably use an assessment platform for summative assessment. separately, and then for formative assessment, you can use, well, ChatGPT, because again, ChatGPT can help you make rubrics, work on this rubric, so that is also possible. But as for an integrated platform which completely covers it all, I'm not really sure. It needs to be checked.
My question was rather than working on Excel sheet or Minitab or any databases. So are there any tools for Excel sheets wherein the entire report is automatically generated?
I can think of LMS. I mean, what you're describing, that's actually a learning management system. That's what you need. I can't think of any AI learning management system that you will be using for your classroom at the moment, unless you upload the course or something. It needs to be checked. But probably if you use it, if you use part of an LMS for your group, I mean, technically that's possible. But at the moment, I cannot give you a direct link like go and check this particular tool. Usually they are cost-based. Usually they are.
If I get you right, so in that case, we have to use a couple of AI tools to get to some course of action for those students who really need some help. So suppose, like I put in the grades first, and then you segregate the averages, and then I go to ChatGPT and, if I'll input the right query there, and then maybe I'll chalk out a plan for them.
Well, technically, I think it is possible. It is possible. Though in Excel at the moment, I think Microsoft has already integrated ChatGPT or GPT model in Excel, or Google Sheets. You could use Google Sheets. And you could probably program that to study the data and to assign various tasks to your students based on the, I mean, you will probably put in a scale, a particular scale, and then based on a particular score, each particular student will be assigned a particular assignment. So in a way, you will model probably Duolingo to some extent, though it's just about vocabulary. But you could do it with Excel or Google Sheets.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shibani. I don't really think we have any more time left for any questions, Lana. It's been a very, very, very busy session today. Hundreds of questions, right? We know it's a hot topic, but it really is hot. So I don't know, any final reflections, Lana? Anything from you to add to what has already been said? I love this analogy, by the way, driving a car, having a driving license doesn't make you
a good driver.
Yeah, a good driver. And it's the same. Having access to this doesn't necessarily automatically mean that you are going to be, I don't know, using it effectively, right? Because a lot of the potential may be lost on you for many different reasons. Some teachers are resistant, right? Reluctant to even try this out. Some teachers, I don't know, may just not know how to, may lack the creativity, but is it really, I mean, I think it's about confidence more than creativity. I think it's about trust. It sounds funny because how can you trust a machine? But it is about allowing, oneself, like if I allow myself to actually trust this machine, okay, and take it seriously and use my expertise, because there is no other way, then sky is the limit. That's my personal take on this.
Well, I would add to that. I would say that at the moment we are all learning. That's what we should understand. There are no 100% experts in AI tools. We may know something, but we are all busily exploring new things, new use cases. And I think that at the moment, in addition to confidence, community is absolutely important. Community that you build on Gallery Teaches, and I've seen your integrated API, your own chatbot, your own teacher, AI teacher, and that's amazing because in the community you also have this assistant, right? And you can explore things together because at times it's much easier to find solutions when you are in a team, when you're with somebody you can discuss things with whom you can share ideas. It's not so scary. And then technology is not really so scary when there is somebody who will support you.